Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome behind the bar. Sorry, just trying to be funny with the review there. I just got back from a beer tasting Kansas City event. We had the event at Screenland for the fundraiser raffle for Dan, and it was an incredible event. Despite the reason we were there, it just shows me how amazing this beer community is. I don't know if there's any other city in America that would come together the way we did. I'm sure that maybe there is, but the hundreds of people that were there, the food, the beer tasting that went on, the bottle shares, just the meeting incredible people and talking about, just coming together is really what it was all about. And it was an amazing event, and hopefully brought a little bit of happiness into, a gloomy situation. So I'll leave it at that. If anybody watches these videos that was there, it was great to meet any of you that came up and said hi. When I got home tonight, freaking had ordered pizza, and the pizza delivery guy recognized me. So that was weird. But if you're watching this, hey buddy, thanks for the pizza. So we'll leave it at that. Tonight, though, we're going to do Surly Abrasive. This was canned on October 30th. My friend Barry, Mr. Decent Guy that does, he's on beer reviews with John and Eric over at Blackboard Beer Reviews, and I've talked about before. Great guy. Met him at Toppling Goliath Morning Delight Day, and hopefully to get to drink beer with him again in the future. But yeah, anyways, he sent me this as part of a trade that we did, and full disclosure, I had a can of this already, and I did not like it. But I loved Abrasive last year, and I've heard that this has gotten a little better with a little age on it, with a couple weeks. So I'm hoping that that's the same with this beer, because I'll be honest, with Surly lately, it's been so hit or miss that it's really started to bother me. Todd the Axeman, I had one pour of it that I thought was really good. Everything else that I've had was like a completely different beer, and I don't understand it. I don't know if it's moving to the new brewery or what it is. QC issues. So I'm hoping that's not the case with this can. I'm hoping I'm getting the experience that some people have had with it, but we shall see. So I had a little bit of technical issue, but no problem. I got it pulled out on the grass. I haven't poured out into the glass. I haven't smelled it. I haven't done anything. It happened right as I was pouring it. So poured out the first time, crystal clear in my horribly dirty, that's my darkness glass, if you can see that. Sexy, sexy glass. I did actually get to have darkness today. I hadn't had 2015 darkness, despite having a few bottles back over there. Hadn't had my own, but somebody won it in a raffle, and we just popped it right there and drank it. So it was really good. It's kind of bitter, but it should age incredibly. But this is pouring a slight haze, but I think that's mostly chill haze. But it is crystal clear. Crystal clear, amber kind of color. I always attribute this back. I don't know why I always think of this, but Jurassic Park with the mosquito. That's the color that this makes me think of. We could clone dinosaurs if there's a mosquito in this, but that's where I always go with it. But regardless, I mean, it's kind of a more West Coast style beer, or kind of like some of the a few of the Toppling Goliath beers, but not even that. I mean, I can see my finger through this, so up to the lights. But yeah, we'll leave it there. Let's see what it smells like. Wow. I'll be honest with you. I'm getting a lot more grapefruit. The last can I had was a sugary mess. It just tasted sweet. It tasted sweet. I mean, I was 2.5 weeks out from can date, maybe 3 tops, and it was just a sugar mess. This, I'm actually getting a lot of grapefruit in. Honestly, the nose on this reminds me a lot, and I can't believe I'm about to say this. It reminds me a lot of King Sue. It really does. But it's very one note, though. There's not a lot else going on. It's grapefruit, maybe some grapefruit rind that's giving it that bitterness, but not a ton of. I mean, there's a little sweetness there, but I'm getting no malts. I'm getting no pininess, no dankness, nothing. Let's see. Hold on. Just because I'm curious. I always like to read the cans for people that aren't able to get a hold of this so you know what it says. Get surly. Sure, we're abrasive. We were abrasive long before we were surly. If you visit the brewery, you can still see remnants of the industrial manufacturing factory Omar's parents ran for 35 years within the same 4 walls. Bandsaw blades, grinding wheels, and sanding discs came long before ales and lagers. But let's be honest, This is a lot more fun. Pale is the cover. This is overhopped, underbrewed double IPA. Underbrewed. I don't know what that means. Has almost twice the amount of hops and malt crammed into the can. So it seems like something interesting to claim that it's double the amount of hops considering all the crazy IPAs that are out there. Like maybe like 5 years ago they could claim that, but that's kind of bullshit now, right? I mean, I'm sure there's beers that do more than Abrasive does. Actually, I know there are because I've drank them, but I won't hold that against them, but the nose is a step in the right direction. Let's see what we think about the rest of it. So without further ado, Barry, cheers, buddy. Well, I will say this is different than the last can I drank. I don't... One moment. I just don't... It's not as sweet as the last one. The last one, seriously, it felt... I'm not even joking. And this is sad. This is part of my gripe. And part of the reason I decided I wanted to do this video is that the last can that I had tasted like 6-month-old Hop Slam. Like a high ABV, high just hop to shit, double IPA, IBUs through the roof, that had just been sitting around for too long. And I don't understand how probably from the same shipment and stack of cans that Barry got that can to this can be this different. This is bitter. I get bitterness from this. I get dankness from this. A ton of bitterness. Like I feel it on my tongue. I didn't get any of that before. It tasted like a shitty, like really old double IPA. I get grapefruit with this. It's seriously like I'm drinking a completely different beer. Completely different beer. 2 cans. I got in the same shipment, dated the same day, and they taste completely different. I don't get it. I don't get how a brewery as big as Surly can put out beer consistently now. In my opinion, from the last 3 beers I've had from them, consistency has been nowhere to be found. Nowhere. I heard that Wet was a train wreck for multiple people. Todd the Axeman, while maybe the best IPA they brewed, one of the 3 cans that I had was good. The rest of them, I didn't like it. The CO2 was nowhere to be found, tasted flat, and it kind of sucked. Granted, one of those times I was really hammered in San Diego and got to try it for the first time, and I just didn't like it. But regardless, how does that happen in a brewery the size of Surly? And the funny thing is I've actually gotten to talk to these guys. I talked to some of the people that work there at a beer event. It doesn't matter what it was, and it was an excuse fest. Like it was just like, oh, it was the lupulin oils for Todd the Axeman. Sorry, that caused the issue with Todd the Axeman. No, it wasn't. Nothing to do with it. If you can't, hops are hops. If you haven't figured out that like no other brewery out there that over hops the shit out of their beer and makes similar beers to you has that problem. They don't. So enough rambling and ranting. I'll get off the soapbox for a minute. We'll talk about this beer. Yes, it smells better. It has that bitterness that kind of gets me right there in the middle of the tongue, right as I drink it. But something's wrong with this beer. It's like I get the malt aspect of the beer, and then completely separate, I get like the bitterness, and then a third aspect of it, I get the sweetness. I don't get any of the grapefruit. Well, I get a little bit, but not very much of the grapefruit. Honestly, the only hop aspect of this is like I just ate orange rind. Like or lemon rind or grapefruit rind, whatever. Like that just bittering, like it's like somebody put it in my mouth and I just started chewing on it. In a well-balanced beer, that's fine because that's how I get that bitterness, but it's like separate stages. It's like right up front, let's just go through it. Initially, I get this sweetness and this like, it's like I get this sweetness and it kind of rolls into this like real quick, like breadiness and crackeryness of the malt, and then it just goes right into this bitterness that is just overpowering, and then finishes really dry. But at the same time, like my mouth starts to water right as I take a drink of it, But then it goes completely away and just kind of this dry mess that just leaves this bitter train wreck on my tongue. I'm not going to finish this can. I'm not. It's too... It's just staying on my tongue, and it's not pleasant. I don't feel like I've done a review yet on my channel like this, because Abrasive is a hyped beer. It's one of the biggest releases that Surly does, and the sad thing is I got 2 cans of this. I had 2 completely different experiences. And I didn't really enjoy either of them, and for really different reasons. The first one was a sugary mess, and this one is just an over... honestly, it tastes like 2 different beers, and this one's not any better than the other one. It's 2 completely different problems. From positive aspects of this, I like the mouthfeel on this beer. For an IPA, it's very medium mouthfeel. It's not creamy or anything like that, but it's not thin. It's got like I said, it's creamy. I like that it feels well made. From a temperature standpoint and things like that I typically get on my local beers for, it's well made in those aspects, but from there, the recipe is kind of a train wreck for me. It's not put together well. I enjoyed the last batch of Abrasive that I did get a 4-pack of that one. All 4 beers tasted exactly the same. Within about a week and a half, they all tasted relatively the same, and I got like a nice bitter grapefruit citrus, just really well made beer, and this is blowing my mind. I'm more blown away by this one than the last one, because the last one I kind of expected from what I heard that it was going to be kind of a missed beer this year, but then I roll into this that's completely different. I get the nose is like, seriously, it's kind of sweet, but overall, like, it's more sweet than the taste is, but at the same time I'm getting grapefruit and melon, like cantaloupe, maybe honeydew, that kind of stuff. But then it rolls into this just bitter, hoppy, just I like bitter beers. I like West Coast style beers. I don't review a ton of them anymore, because I don't drink a ton of them, just because I don't trade for a ton of them. But I love Pliny. I love, some of the Beechwood beers, the Noble Ale beers. I love Modern Times, like the big West Coast named beers. I like them a lot. But this is it's trying to be West Coast, and it's just a big failure for me. It's a big failure. I'm not a big fan. So for those of you that like Abrasive, my apologies. Hopefully you got a better can than I did, than the 2 cans that I got. Yeah, I hope you did. I really do, because I know some people got better cans than I did. At least it sounds like it. People that I respect their views, they liked it better than I did. But I do not like this. This is, for me, not a horrible... I mean, this isn't like a revolting beer by any means, but for what it's supposed to be, this is not good for me. I am giving this an 84. So by far the lowest score I've ever given a beer on my channel, I believe. So B minus, probably 83, 84. Right in that range is where I'm going to leave this. I don't know if I'll ever try and get this beer again. I liked the last batch, and when Barry asked me if I wanted a few despite what I'd heard, I said yes, I would love a couple cans. And I got them, and they are by far the 2 worst beers I have drank in the last 3 weeks. Both of them, by far. So, Surly, nobody at Surly is going to watch this. Nobody at Surly is really going to care. But people that are going to try and trade for this, if you want Abrasive, don't give up anything for it. Don't. It's not worth it. It's too hit or miss. You're taking a too big of a risk. Trade for something that's way better. Try for, a toppling Goliath release like Zealander or Light Speed Pale Ale, or, something. I don't know if New Glarus is brewing it right now. Trade for Scream. Scream's consistent. It's a much better beer than this. Trade for anything on the West Coast. Modern Times, Noble Ale Works, Kern, if you can get a hold of it. Beechwood. I mean, honestly, don't trade for this. Don't buy it. Don't spend the money on it. I watch car reviews, and there's this place that does buy it, lease it, don't go near it, and this is a don't go near it for me. Don't do it. Don't drink it. Don't waste your time. Locally in Kansas City, you're better off buying single wide. You're better off buying the Calling. You're better off buying Schlafly TIPA. You're better off buying any of the tall grass IPAs, anything. They're all better than this. So don't do it. If you trade for it and you only have to give up something like that and you want to try it, do it, but don't give up anything worthwhile. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there. I'm actually going to go down to 83 out of 100, and I'm not probably going to drink the rest of this, and if that makes me sound douchey, I'm sorry, but the way I view it is I have better beers I can drink, so I'm not going to force myself through something I don't enjoy. And honestly, I feel like 83 is even too high. I'm just trying to not be too over the top because I don't want to overreact to a beer. But this is the least impressed I've been with this early beer in a long time. I've got a can of Blacker up there. I'd much rather drink that, which is a collaboration with Three Floyds and another brewery. I don't remember who it is, but I far more enjoy that crazy overhopped black IPA than I do this. We are 15 minutes into this beer review. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for it to go this long, but I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for coming behind the bar. Hopefully if you made it through this, you're a trooper. Surly Abrasive. I mean, a review doesn't matter. Don't drink this. Don't drink it. It's not worth it. It is a mess, and hopefully Surly can get their shit figured out by the next time they do this, because this is a disappointment for me. And for a beer I used to enjoy. So we'll leave it there. Again, the Beer Tasting Kansas City event that we did tonight, amazing. I think it's the start of probably an annual event we're going to do for better reasons next year, just kind of as a fundraiser in general, that hopefully is going to continue to be an amazing thing that we do and show just how awesome this community is in Kansas City. But I'm glad I didn't bring Abrasive to it, because the people wouldn't have liked me. Instead I brought Treehouse and barrel-aged stouts and all sorts of fun stuff. But yeah, so basically not rating it out of 100. And that's Surly Abrasive. Thank you for coming behind the bar. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the subscribes. And thank you very much for the comments and watching. Until next time, guys. Cheers.